there folks, well we have a carrot emergency. I've got some carrots and if you have a look they're starting to develop some black spots. The reason for this is that they've been stored in the house, excuse me, and they've been in fairly humid conditions and carrots don't like to be wet. So they're perfectly okay, they're fine, but a lot of people would throw these away and I'm damned if I'm going to. So what I've done is I've peeled them and as you can see they're perfectly okay, they're absolutely fine, and we're going to freeze them. But before we freeze them we've got to blanch them. So I'll be back in a minute when I've got a nice pot of boiling water to show you. Okay, so as you can see I've got a good rolling boil going on here. Now I'm going to put the carrots in, but the minute I put the carrots in it's going to take it off the boil, so you've got to bring it back to the boil. Now I've done my carrots in two separate halves because I do want them to have enough room in the water excuse me, to be able to wiggle around a bit, just jiggle, just make sure that that part cooking, blanching takes place. Once we've got it back up to a boil, we're going to leave it to boil for 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be absolutely precise, you know, to the second. It's not rocket science here, but you do need it around the 2 minutes once it's got back to the boil. So what I'm going to do now is pop the lid back on and we'll be back after 2 minutes. Right, so my carrots have now been boiling for the last 2 minutes, a good rolling boil. I'm sorry about the strange camera angle, but at the moment you're balanced on a parsnip and a leek, so that I can show you what I do next with them. So I drop them into a colander and try and shake off any excess. And then I've got a pan of cold water. If you put the carrots straight into them, into this cold water, it then stops the cooking process. You can use ice, you know, to cool it down very, very quickly, but I find this works just as well. What you want to do is make sure that the carrots are cold when you start to pack them. So I swish them around in the water a wee bit. And then I get my colander again. Tip the carrots back into it, because the next thing you want to do is leave them for 5 or 10 minutes, to make sure that they're completely cold, but also to try and get any excess water off them before you freeze them. Then they won't clump together in the freezer. Now you can just pop these into freezer bags. Look at the colour of those carrots. I mean, aren't they beautiful? You can just pop those into freezer bags. I'm actually going to use a vacuum sealer. If you've got one, it just, I think, to be honest with you, it makes packing your freezer easier, because it makes sure that all of those little air pockets are gone, but it really doesn't matter, to be absolutely honest with you. So I'm just going to leave those to cool now, put my next batch on, and we'll be back when I've packed. So I've just sealed mine into bags and thrown them in the freezer. I've got 3 handy sized bags there out of that one batch. Not bad, to be honest with you, for those carrots that most people would have thrown away. Okay, well I'm off to do exactly the same process with parsnips now. So if you have got any vegetables that you just don't like the look of, blanch them, freeze them, don't waste them. See you next time, bye!